plus be with you.
Do you want to rev up your Harley?
Oh my God, there's some naughtiness that happens in this one. Gee.
Oh, and
Yeah,
to think
so,
it's not even as naughty as the comic is.
yeah, for sure. They had to water it down, but still, I was like going, oh wow, yeah, she does. Okay, yeah, there's some of that in there.
Yeah.
Good job, gents, Tim and Beanie. Anyways, welcome, guys. DC Fan-imated. We are back. We had a week off because, well, something invaded my face that is still, I still have leftovers from, and I'm just like, geez, one of the worst colds.
Dave, I'm sorry. That's just the way you look. I'm sorry.
How dare you, sir? No, yeah, I know. Joke was there. I set you up for it.
I mean that was
Yeah, I set you up for it. It's fine. No, but yeah. So of course we took. I took Wednesday off for sure. We almost took tonight off, but
oh
Scott's got a
jeez.
scheduling thing that's been happening with his work that at first we weren't going to, but then it got moved again. So hey, we're here. We're here.
Yay!
He's probably sucking on some caffeine right now. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because he got work to do after this. But right now we're going to talk about some Mad Love, which we were anxious about when we the last time we were together, and we this because it's interesting the fact that if you look at the order on HBO Max or whatever, or like release order, it is technically the last episode, right?
It was the last aired episode of Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
Now, so when you watched, so this would have been considered, and I'm gonna say something here. As we continue to watch the remaining episodes of the animated series in production order, which is, the way we've been committed to doing it, I will say it does feel like this should be if you want to go out on a high note for Batman the Animated Series,
Seriously.
you go out on this episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and spoiler alert, folks. The episode we will go out on is going to be kind of one of those, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I see that coming. Yeah, and especially rewatching this, you can understand why when they released it. But like I said, we committed right from the beginning that we were going to do production.
Because it works out really well at the beginning of the
Yeah,
series.
it does. It does, yeah.
It really works out well.
Yeah.
It just kind of falls apart a little bit as we get here to the end.
Yeah.
But that being said, this is a fantastic episode.
Fantastic episode. 100%.
As I promised you 2 weeks ago, I brought props.
Of course.
Of course. Because not only is Mad Love historically the last aired episode of Batman the Animated Series. So back in 1998, this would have been the last episode of the show any of us actually saw new to air. There were reruns still. But it was adapted from a comic in 1994. It was a 64-page special.
Hold on, you're pixelating. Of course, right when you pull that up. I tell you, I knew it. I was like, you know what happened when it happened. Yes, of course. Jace, right. I was like, right when he was about to just like do that, he starts pixelating. I'm like, man, and I think the last couple of times his feed's been doing good when it comes to the live stream. But anyways, okay, we are back.
That's so 64-page special Mad Love one shot from 1994, written by Paul Dini, drawn by Bruce Timm, colors co-done by Bruce Timm. Won an Eisner. This is an Eisner, a winning comic, and yes, I am holding a first printing of the comic from 1994. Eat your heart out.
I love it. First print. Look at that.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, I tried to find it, but maybe I stashed it somewhere else in my collection. I think I have the third printing too, which has
Okay.
a variant cover.
It's a different cover. Yeah. The one that I think I had was it was mainly Harley. Like she was large on the front.
Right, it's painted. What it reminds me of is that the cover to the Mask of the Phantasm
Yeah.
adaptation,
Yeah.
because Bruce Timm painted the cover painted that variant cover. But if you want to read the book, there's actually two different ways. If you have DC Universe Infinite, you can read a scan of the original issue. If you're an Ultra subscriber, they also have the digital version of the deluxe edition that has new digital recoloring, so it really it pops because
Cool.
it's got that special, like the colors are just richer and deeper and they don't look like the old printing process from the 90s, and then also has the complete book in the layout form, so you see all of the color notes and the original boards on inks with all the editorial notes all around it. It's a really cool find. There's also a out of print hardcover, I think, called Mad Love and Other Adventures that has Mad Love, but then other issues or stories that were written by Paul Dini and drawn by Bruce Timm. So there's a lot of different ways, because you better believe I've never actually opened that. I've never opened that
I wouldn't
book.
think that you had the first printing. Yeah, and it's no, you're not going to open that.
The sad part is, Dave, I remember back in the 90s seeing this on the rack at a Books A Million, and I could have bought it for the cover price of $3.95 back in 1994. The same way that I know I saw the Batman Adventures number 12 on the rack at a
Yeah.
Big B Drugs, and once again could have gotten it for like $1.95, and it just
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of you just never know. You just
you
never
just
know.
never know.
Yeah.
So but it is a great story, and I will tell you, watching this episode, it's almost like you just slap the comic up and there's your storyboards.
Yeah.
Like it's there it is. The dialogue, Paul Dini adapts the screenplay for the episode from the book he wrote. Uh
Mhm.
and almost all the dialogue comes straight from the book, and they just trim it down a little. Like they
Yeah.
just they just they, they
22
just
minutes. Yeah.
yeah, except for the joke that you started up the show with. That was new for the episode.
Well, yeah. I figured that joke was just like, hey, just say it.
Just say
Just say it, Mark.
come on.
Just say it. I don't know. It's the first time it's gonna be the last episode. Who knows if we're gonna be voicing Joker again? Of course, he voiced him for many, many years after that. But they had to fit in some kind of Star Wars joke in there.
Yeah.
I like Robin here, like said that when Scott is on the stream, I feel like I'm watching a TV auction.
The difference is that I won the auction. I'm not
Yeah.
selling it.
Yes. Yes. It's a ha-ha, auction. Ha-ha, I have
I
this.
am an asshole. I understand that. But I'm a
You're nice.
nice asshole.
Yeah, you're a lovable asshole. No, but that's cool. That's cool. And then, obviously, because we hadn't seen really, well, obviously, let's just dive right into the episode. Like we start off with Gordon, of course, he has to get a dental checkup. And he doesn't want to, because who wants to go to the dentist? Nobody does.
I know I don't. I mean,
Nobody ever does, so, but you have to do the checkup and hope for the best. Hopefully you just swish. They check. They do a little scrape. And then, they send you off your way with a lollipop, which is weird. I'm just saying.
it's the candy lobby. It's the
Yes.
candy lobby. They're in bed with
Yeah.
big dentist. That's
Yeah.
it's all a scheme.
It's all a scheme. Go ahead and exit out again. You're starting to pixelate.
Always the good episodes. Always the good
yeah,
episodes.
that's what it is. That's what Streamlit. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, he has to get a checkup, and naturally you're already going, okay, something's weird right here. Something's weird, something's strange. There's no way that this is just going to be any normal checkup. And sure enough, the Joker is there. And yeah, I'm automatically going, oh wow, this could get bad. And of course, Harley is there too. Harley is also there as his assistant, and yeah, it's just one of those, like, like he's strapped to the chair, and then of course Joker's going to do that whole thing where, like, yep, looks like we're going to have to drill and remove everything, and of course has this big huge power drill. Gets very close.
Does get very close, and then
Very
of course,
close. He's going to drill into his forehead, not even his mouth.
no. He's going straight for the brain pan.
Yeah.
And of course, Batman comes crashing in through the window.
Yes.
And
He
he's got
intervenes.
and he's got the fake teeth with the little note on it. It's like, and I love how he just just trash talks him.
Yeah.
I mean, he just is like smacking on like how predictable and old hat and stupid, which is interesting because since the comic came out so early in the run, it was actually funny when I was going through my long box trying to find the actual issue among all my Batman Adventure comics. I was shocked to realize how like near the front it was as far as release. And yet the story and the smack talk, I do feel like works better when you've got a Batman and a Joker and a Harley that have been at it for a while. It does feel more appropriate to be kind of a season 3 relationship instead of, a season 1, season 2 kind of deal.
No, it does, because I mean, it's almost like, I mean, he was about to put a drill into Gordon's head, and when Batman just like crashes through, and of course he, stops him, but at the same time, he's more just like, oh yeah, Gordon's fine, and he's just like giving shit to Joker, like, really, this is the best you got, man? It's almost like it's like Batman was almost like, yeah, this is a game, and he's kind of leaning into it, and yeah, he's just straight up talking shit.
Of course, then Harley jumps in and was like, it was my idea. Which is really funny because it just reminds me of one of my favorite dirtiest jokes I used to tell. I had a teacher tell it to me once. That was terribly inappropriate. Oh no. Have I told you my postman joke?
I don't know if you have.
Okay. I think this is going to be the tangent for tonight, because when Harley says it was my idea, I just, okay. So Postman's retiring. It's a Joker episode. It makes perfect sense to tell a joke.
It does.
Okay. So a postman's on his route. He's retiring. So he's running his route for the last time. So he's knocking on doors and everyone's giving him like little gifts, like gift cards and sweaters and that kind of thing. So he walks up to this last house, and this woman steps out in this sexy negligee and then takes him upstairs and has her way with him. After she's done, she goes downstairs and fixes him this huge breakfast. And so then after the postman's finished eating breakfast, she hands him $1. And the postman's sitting there going, okay, the sex was amazing. The breakfast was delicious. What's $1 for? And the woman goes, well, I asked my husband what I should get you, and he said, fuck it, give him $1. Breakfast was my idea.
Oh, damn. Fucking good. Jesus. That's good. And a teacher told you that.
Yes.
That's hilarious. How old were you when you heard that joke?
High school.
Okay, well, not as bad. I'm like thinking, was it fucking 6th grade? Like,
no, it was high school. Yeah, I was a teen. So yeah.
Okay. So not too bad. But that's pretty funny. Breakfast was my idea.
Yeah. That's why I thought about it. That's the connective tissue here.
No, it's good. It's good for this episode, like I said. Yeah. So then, of course, she said it was my idea. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You're welcome, Dave.
Yes,
you're welcome.
I'm gonna say that joke. Christmas Eve dinner. That's right. No, probably wouldn't.
You're welcome, Janice.
Yeah, I know, right? She's watching. She's like, okay. No, she's not out there. So maybe I will. I don't know. No. So yeah. So then, of course, She sprays him with like some laughing gas, obviously that's in the dentist office. And and then that's how they pretty much, they get away. And then that's where you get the line, may the floss be with you. And he throws a grenade. Batman quick to grab the grenade, throw it out the window, and then guard Gordon as it goes off. And again, though, it's like one of those things. It's just like in The Dark Knight where I go, okay, everybody's safe. You're still in a building. Go after him. What I mean, like, you could still kind of go after him. I don't know unless they had like some crazy way of getting out, which they probably did, because it is still Joker and Harley in a public place, very recognizable. So maybe they had some quick way, go down a laundry chute. I don't know.
Well, it's also interesting because if you follow the structure of the comic, this is essentially the cold open for the comic before you get to, there's always that page where suddenly you get the title and you get all like the credits in the panel. This was the cold open before that, because after this sequence, now the episode jumps to Joker and Harley at their hideout. But there's actually a sequence in the actual comic where Batman goes back to the Batcave and has a conversation with Alfred and gives us a little bit gives us the pre-Arkham Harley origin story.
Oh, okay.
Because this is where a part that I enjoyed about that animated sequence at the beginning of Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn was it acknowledged some of her origin story that comes from this excised portion of Mad Love of the comic, because that's where we find out that she was a gymnast. That basically she went to college on a gymnastics scholarship, and that she wanted to graduate from Gotham University from their prestigious psychology department because she wanted to rake in the bucks. And there's a sequence where she talks about she got a bad grade on the thesis, and then she basically had a sexual encounter with one of her professors and then got her grade. So basically it showed how she kind of slept her way through college, getting better grades. And Alfred in the comic makes a comment about how she wanted to become one of those atrocious pop psychologists and have her own line of self-help books, which is interesting to me, because when we go to the Batman, that next iteration of the of animated Batman, they did a revised Harley Quinn origin. Paul Dini wrote it, and in that episode, Harley is introduced as a television pop psychologist, like a Dr. Phil type. And so I thought it was interesting that he kind of laid the groundwork in Mad Love, and they said, well, that's cool. How about I do that for a different interpretation of Harley when they went to the Batman? So I think it's interesting that there's a couple of important pieces of information there of, the gymnastics, which we've seen throughout the series. And then also this idea that she kind of slept her way through college to get her psychology degree. And that gets removed because then it jumps straight to where the episode picks up, which is Joker and Harley at their hideout.
No, I mean, I can see why they removed that. I mean, obviously, they're not gonna, but that's kind of cool though. And I've, like I said, I read the book a long time ago, and I don't even remember it all that much. I probably have it somewhere. And also exit out, you're pixelating again. Of course, on the good episodes. But I know, I mean, that's kind of cool that, and then just that little factor of, oh yeah, this is, she's a little promiscuous, a little bit, Harleen Quinzel, for sure. But welcome back. But no, I mean, it's cool, like a little. That's why we suggest reading the actual book, just to get those little extra things in here. But yeah, we go right to the hideout, and of course, Joker is just. Batman kind of broke him a little bit. with the shit talking. He's just like, damn, I have to figure out something better. Like, what the hell? He called me out for it. Usually he just beats me up and throws me into Arkham, and then that's it. But this time he just instead of doing that, he kind of fucked with his head a little bit to the point where Harley comes out in a little nightie and she is like, yeah, like she said, she wants to gets her, you want to rev up your Harley. She says that she gets on the table full on and he's not having it.
No, it's interesting because in the comic, the 90 is a little, no, a little is being facetious, a little bit more translucent in the.
A little bit more of her figure.
Yeah. There's a silhouette there. Let's just say underneath the 90, and so
that's nice.
But and there's a lot more kind of build up because she's like singing "I Feel Pretty" from West Side Story, which of course they didn't do because copyright on this episode. But once again, the scene plays out pretty much. I mean, you've got Harley, like she's horny and she is ready, and it's like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Like take me.
Yes. She needs some tension relieved, which he does. But at the same time, his mind got so fucked with by Batman that he's just going through old plans and trying to figure out what the heck he's going to do next when it comes to it. And of course, he comes up with a plan of like piranhas.
Well, it's an old plan. He finds the old plan and he's like, let's do this.
Yeah. But then, of course, it kind of gets poo-pooed. Well, I love how she goes, why don't you just shoot him? And then he gets so upset because that's what everybody kind of thinks. It's like, Joker, just kill him. Just shoot him. Just do that. But that's not the Joker's. Everything's got to be a show. Everything's got to be a show.
We got a monologue.
Yes, you have to do that. There's got to be jokes. There's got to be everything. Everything has to be a show. That's just what he has to do. He's not just gonna try to find Batman just perched up somewhere, come behind him and blow him away. No, that's not his style. It's always got to be a show. And of course, he talks about the piranha idea, but then he's like, well, that can't work because he can't get the piranha to have smiling faces.
Right. And it's kind of funny because in the comic, they do, once again, the show really does a nice job of like, let's streamline the dialogue here because we don't have to worry about reading all the bubbles. Because, Joker acknowledges that like literally their bones are structured to like, they're in a frown. Like literally a piranha turns downwards.
Yeah.
And it was really funny too, because there's a story in the deluxe edition where Bruce Timm says that Paul Dini gifted him a stuffed mounted piranha as like a visual reference for drawing the piranhas in the comic.
It's like funny. But yeah, so and then of course she's still trying to seduce him, and then he just kicks her out. In her 90.
I mean, who would kick that?
Joker,
Joker. Like this is just proof that he's crazy.
Yes, I mean, this is definitive proof right here. And then of course she just starts blaming Batman. She starts ranting off about Batman. She says it's all his fault because it's never his fault, right? It's never his fault. It's never Joker's fault. It's Batman's fault. And then this is where we get the flashback of Harleen Quinzel, going up to Arkham and starting her job. And, we get the voice not so high pitched. Was that the first time we actually heard her voice not so high?
No, we've heard it that way she's done it before when she's disguised herself. Like, remember the whole, I think I served you a subpoena once. It was a small subpoena. I love that line. I mean, oh God, when we rewatched that episode. Yeah. But no, we've heard her speak in a more Harley. I think probably something like also like Harley's Holiday or Harley Quinn. Yeah. We've definitely heard her, go into a more the lower register. But this is our first time to truly see Harleen.
Yeah.
And not Harley. Yeah. Because this comic when Paul Dini created Harley Quinn in Joker's favor back in season 1, he didn't have a backstory for her. And you kind of pick up on that based on some dialogue from those early episodes.
True. Yeah, I
The
think we talked about that a little bit too.
Right. The idea of her being a Joker psychiatrist did not happen until Paul Dini, just almost like a passing comment, mentioned it to Bruce Timm. And for one reason or another, they decided to make it a comic instead of an episode of the TV show. And so all of this, she was around for 2 years before
having a
anybody,
backstory, yeah.
without having a backstory. Yeah.
She was just Joker's crazy girl sidekick.
Exactly.
But, yeah, so we get this little flight, and then of course she's just fascinated by trying to treat these psychos, I guess you could say. And
Well,
then
it's not that she's fascinated. It's that if you go back to that point where she wants to make money.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
She wants to tell all book. She
True,
wants to be able to interview people, which is really funny because did you see the inmate behind her when she's talking to Dr. Leland? Licking the glass. Did that inmate look familiar?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably one of the two, right?
It's Dini.
It's Dini. Dini. I mean, and then immediately, I mean, I was like, I'm like, I'm sure that's somebody. And then, but then the thing I was thinking of is Weasel and the Suicide Squad doing the same thing.
I know, which is so funny. I had the same thought, but yet this came first. Yeah. But yeah, that's Paul Dini, and he's in the comic. He's the same inmate in the comic.
Nice, just licking the glass. And then of course he, she sees Joker, and then of course, basically Joker does like a little trick. We don't know exactly how he does it, but he sends her a rose and a note.
Yes,
we don't know how he does it,
and she doesn't either. But it intrigues her.
Yeah,
and this is the beginning of the relationship. This is the beginning of the inappropriateness because well, of course, he's the Joker. Yes. So with her mentality of I want to write the best-selling book and I want to get the publishing deal and I want to rake it in. I mean,
perfect.
What would be better than, the tell-all book about the Joker?
Exactly. So, and then and then, their first exchange right here, this shows you how, smart that he could be. It's just the fact that it's like, because she's asking like how you do it. And then she's like, I don't think the guards would appreciate that. And then he goes like, if you wanted to tell the guards, you would have already.
Yeah.
He was like, he's already calling her bullshit. Like, hey, if you wanted, you came here with the notes, you didn't tell anybody. So, it's like,
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. So I see right through you. And so we see that. And then of course, it takes her like 3 months or so to get her where she can actually, obviously the thumbnail right here where he's lying down and he's basically just confessing, a lot of things to her, talking about, oh yeah, my dad used to just when I got out of line, he'd pop me. And even on the good times, he would still do that. And just basically just giving all this backstory. And at first you're kind of going, is this real?
But I love how they play it so sincerely.
Yeah.
It's like, the alcoholic father.
Yeah.
He beat him. It was a miserable time. You could almost believe it. Like, because Harley completely believes
she buys into it.
Absolutely.
He talks about one of the best days of going to the circus and something happening with the clown where, I think
he drops his pants. He drops his pants, and his dad laughs his ass off. And it's the funniest thing. It was like the one time he remembered, his dad laughing.
Yeah, but then he still broke his nose.
because he tries to repeat it at home.
Yeah,
to make his dad laugh.
Yeah,
and then he falls down and ends up splitting his Sunday best, and he breaks his nose for that.
Yeah,
which is interesting because in the comic, and then you see it on a notepad later, he really twists the knife by telling her that he realized this when he woke up 3 days later in the hospital.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and actually, if you look at her legal pad in the next scene, and she's checking off the boxes like abusive father, this, that, right before she writes Batman, it says 3 days in hospital. So it's
Oh,
still
wow.
there in
Yeah.
the cartoon, even though he
Gotta
doesn't
catch
say it. Because that would be a little much for a kid's cartoon. Let's not
Yep.
lie.
I
Yeah.
mean, they're already pushing it, with the whole Rev the Harley thing. So, yeah. And then, this is just kind of like a little sequence where she basically talks about like how, yeah, she falls in love with him, and she's just totally smitten because even on her legal pad too, she has the hearts and the H plus J and
It
all.
looks like a schoolgirl crush doodling in her notebook, you know.
Totally. What do they call that? The Florence Nightingale effect or whatever? Is that what they
Uh
call that? Where like a nurse falls in love with their patient kind of thing?
no, Florence Nightingale. I thought the Florence Nightingale was when you fall in love with a nurse.
Oh, is
Like,
that what it is? Might be the reverse. Okay.
yeah, because
All right.
there's also the one where you fall in love with your captors. I forgot what that one. That's Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm
Stock.
syndrome is when you fall in love with your kidnapper, and then Florence Nightingale, I think, is when you fall in. I thought it was when you fell in love with your nurse, but maybe it is when you fall in love with your patient.
I think it might be. Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up.
Look it up. Look it up. Because I think it is. Because yeah, because the only reason why I know this,
Okay,
the
listen.
only reason why I know this is because Back to the Future. That's the Florence Nightingale effect when nurses fall in love with their patients. Because you know how like Marty's mom falls in love with him,
Oh yeah.
and he says,
Um,
is it maybe I
you
he's
could
wrong?
okay. Yep. The Florence Nightingale effect is a trope where a caregiver falls in love with their patient. Yeah, hey, I will give you credit, sir. You
There
were
you go.
right, sir.
There you go. Yeah, like I said, the only reason why I know that is because of Back to the Future.
It
It's the
taught you
only reason.
so much. It was very
Hey,
instrumental in your
I
upbringing.
mean, come on. It's Back to the Future. Taught me about time travel. Anyways, so sorry, I'm just finding the spot of where we're gonna get the clip
Oh,
here.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
But
hold
it's
on.
interesting because she I think that it's an interesting thing where she's giving this voiceover narration
Yeah,
because the whole flashback sequence has been voiceover narrated. This is when you properly use voiceover narration, unlike that Superman episode a
100%.
couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
But what I think is cool is how the voiceover narration transitions into she's on the couch talking to a therapist, only for you to realize that the therapist is the Joker.
Yep. Yep.
And I really like that transition. I think it's really well done. And then that's when we get to the tipping point for her because she talks about this time where he breaks out and he's been gone for like a week. She's reading a newspaper about how body counts are rising and she's concerned about his well-being.
Jesus Christ. This is where she's showing her psycho. Yeah, and then of course Batman brings him back, bruised and beaten up, bloody mouth and stuff like that. And then she's just like, "Oh my god!" And then of course they take him away, and she's like, "No!" I mean, they had to fire her right after that, right? They had to just be like, "What the fuck?"
You know, but they didn't. But you
Yeah,
would think like this should have been like red flags,
yeah.
red
Maybe they just
flags,
wrote her up.
all HR. I mean,
Maybe she was just
seriously.
Maybe she had an excuse. We just didn't see we could just say like she had some good excuse and she just played it off. But then she just goes, rogue and just goes to a local little shop and just starts buying all the Harley Quinn costume, everything that she needs for the costume, and then just little things that she's going to use to break him out of Arkham.
And she does it quite effectively.
She does.
Sneaks past the guards, whacks someone with a fish that has a brick in it, shoot some gas, has some C4 to blow the glass on his cell. And you
Full
know,
on.
I mean, there it is. She's driving the car. He's laughing all the way as they drive away from Arkham.
Yep, and
And
then of course they drive off into like the sunset, and we should have lived happily ever after, but nope. And then we're back to present day, and then she's just like, Batman. It's because of Batman. Yeah, it's because of Batman. Yeah, sure.
right. Right.
Right. But then she comes up with a little, pretty good idea. I mean, a really good idea. I mean, she sends Gordon a tape that basically goes like, hey, yeah, I need protection. Joker's like out to kill me. She takes off her mask.
It's not even that he's out to kill me. It's more of, okay, you stopped him from killing Gordon, so now he's going to go like nuclear on the city. And she's like,
Oh
"Who's
yeah, yeah.
seen
Duh.
the plans? There's gas bombs. It's this, it's that." It's
I,
basically she's playing the act that Joker now Joker has gone too far.
yeah, it's not
But
like he hasn't done it before. But then she's just planning like I need protection and blah 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 because yeah. I think that's where my mind went. I was like, no, he's not. Yeah. But then she takes off her mask, she takes off, and then drops her voice down too, to that normal voice and just basically was like, okay, we need, I need help. And then, yeah, so it's like, it seems like it's interesting, but obviously it's like, well, there still could be something fishy here, which, Batman probably should have been a little bit more careful, but hey. But yeah, and then and then I'm like wondering where the hell does she get this Joker boat machine gun thing? Because right as he approaches her and he's like telling her and showing her like the prints and stuff like that, all of a sudden you see Joker just showing up on a little boat and he's just firing it away. And then turns out, it's like a robot thing or whatever. I'm like, damn, where'd she have that?
well, I mean, let's be honest. Joker had them back in Christmas with the
True.
Joker. The ones with the machine guns in the fingers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. So she probably, I mean, I'm sure there's a warehouse.
Joker's got all kinds of crap
Yeah,
sitting
there's a
around.
warehouse somewhere. There are probably a couple of warehouses that are scattered throughout the city that are just got all kinds of shit in them. So yeah, and then of course, like, he, dives on top of her like to make sure that she doesn't get shot, throws a batarang, the head falls off, and he's like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, you hear the and then it's a cool shot too.
It's a really cool
Just
shot. And
like
once
he
again,
just
another one of those pulled right from the panel. Like,
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
oh, it's so
Because
cool.
he just falls forward and then you just see her and you just see like a shadowy and you see like she's holding like the needle and it's like, oh
No, what I love is
uh-huh,
like when the camera zooms away and
yeah,
she's standing there with the paper swirling and she's like, "Sweet dreams, sucker." Like
yeah,
that's almost got like a Frank Miller Sin City-esque kind of vibe to it.
yep.
The way it just the noir lighting on the whole thing. It's really cool. Which is then funny that I say Sin City because there's a pull quote on the cover of Mad Love that's from Frank Miller saying the best Batman story of the decade.
Oh, that's right. He does say that. Oh man, that's cool. Yeah, there you go. And then of course Batman wakes up and guess where he's at? He's upside down, chained up, looking down at a piranha tank.
Yeah. Reminds me a little bit of the Laughing Fish.
A little bit.
A little
Yeah.
bit, except for it's a piranha tank instead of a shark tank.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Yep.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it's fine because even in the comic, Harley once again references her dislike of fish.
Yes.
And
She
I
does.
think and I thought that was fun because I was just like, I love a good through line. Like Harley doesn't like fish. Let's call back to the laughing fish.
She hates it. Kind of makes you wonder. It's like, sharks. Would that be a better way to go? Because they just, you probably after one chomp you're done. Piranha, that's a lot of chomping teeth. Ugh.
Yeah, that's like a
Probably
dead
hurt a little bit
1,000
more.
cuts. Yeah,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
that probably hurt just a little bit more. Anyway, so she of course is talking about all that, and then I love it when Batman just being a little sassy pants, starts laughing, and you're kind of going, "What the fuck?" He's laughing, like laughing.
And I love how Harley's like, "What the hell, man?
Yeah,
I
I've
don't like
never heard you laugh. Like he just like was not sure like what the hell's happening. I mean, she's about to drop him into the whole thing. And then he just basically just like lets her know that go
He just starts mind fucking her.
mind fuck. I mean, that's the thing. This is like yeah, you might as well you could call it mad love, but you can also call it mind fuck because Batman does it to Joker and then he's doing it to Harley and basically just letting her, you know, like about his, it's just the way that he is just like letting her like gaslighting her essentially.
Oh no, he's totally gaslighting her. It's like he's not gonna believe you.
Yeah.
When are those piranhas gonna leave?
Yeah.
Bony fabric. You have my belt. But
Anybody could yeah.
anybody could do
Anybody
that.
could fake that. Anybody could fake that. And so he's just like, yeah, totally doing that. And then she just decides, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and just call him up and be like, hey, and he ain't happy about it. That's for damn sure.
I love it. I love how it was like throwing plans, going, nah, too old, too Riddler, you know?
Yeah, too Riddler and not funny and blah blah blah. It's just he's still going through a bunch of different plans, and it's like, okay. So then this is where we're gonna get to the clip.
Okay, this is where we're gonna jump in. Okay.
Yeah, when he enters the building.
Harley.
You're just in time to see the.
Bam!
Notice how the
Smacked him.
camera pans away so we don't actually see the contact on that
Yep.
one.
Yep.
That would be
And
standard for
practice.
practices.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Don't you want to finally get rid of Batman?
Only if I do it, idiot.
But it's still your plan, see? Everything just like you said. Except I hung the guy upside down so he'd see their little frowns as little smiles. Now it all works.
Except you have to
explain
explain it to me. If you have to explain a joke, there is no joke.
See? Always a
Now,
performance.
calm down, Puddin'.
You've forgotten what I
Yeah,
told you a
swordfish.
long time ago. One of the painful truths of comedy. You always take shots from
Shots from the
folks who just don't get the joke.
Great callback to that session.
Yeah. And then she just takes a nasty fall right here. Just
Oh, and by the way, in the comic, this is much more violent
oh, I'm sure.
because when it pans to her right here, there's a pool of blood underneath
Oh.
her.
My fault. I didn't get the joke.
See, and then she blames herself.
I really
Yeah.
have to apologize to the kid.
And then I love this right here. It's like, Joker, you have the
Let's just
opportunity
pretend the
to
whole
take
thing
the
never
mask
happened
off
and do this
and
some
take
other
the
time.
towel off.
You can kill him right
And you can
here.
kill him
He's going to walk away.
because he just can't do it. But then he decides, okay, maybe I
This
should.
is a rather rare opportunity. You know what they say? A bat in the hand is worth two in the belfry.
And you know what?
I
He
guess
actually
you're
uses
going out on a
Harley's
laugh
idea.
after all.
Let's just shoot him.
What? Batman's too smart. And Batman can move around when he's. That way he grabs his utility belt with his feet. Yes.
I love how the piranhas are still on it.
Yeah. And then right here, this is. Oh my God.
Made you look.
That was pretty damn ballsy right there.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah,
I also love how Batman just
She
suddenly appears
almost had
behind
me,
him.
you know.
Yeah.
Arms and legs chained.
And then we
dizzy
got a
from
cool
the blood
shot
rushing
right
to
up.
my head.
That's coming right
I
here.
had no way out.
Oh, yeah,
other than convincing her to
the
call
profile
you.
shot.
Yeah.
I knew
Oh,
your ego would
yeah.
never allow
Cool.
anyone else the honor of killing me. Though I have to admit, she came a lot closer.
And then
than
he's
you ever
gaslighting her, him again. Ah.
Puddin'.
Puddin'.
Oh. I mean, this is a pretty vicious fight.
It
You know,
is.
This is about as vicious for television as you can get with like the fight at the end of Phantasm.
Yeah. And then he just pushes him off the train. He didn't know where he was going to land.
I know, right?
So I think that was just Batman going, I'm done with this fucking shit. I'm done with this toxic relationship.
And it's really funny in the comic as he's falling into the smokestack. They
Yeah.
actually, Tim drew it to say, "Not again."
Never again. No
Yeah.
more obsession.
And we
Now,
got
this is
ending.
one part of the episode that
No
I
more
actually
craziness.
feel like, at least the writing, Dini
No more
improves
Joker.
the ending in the episode versus the way it's scripted in the comic.
Yeah.
I like the lines in the episode.
I finally see that slime for what he is. A murderous, manipulative, irredeemable.
It's like she's kind of
And then,
realizing it, and then
Yeah.
she gaslights herself again.
yeah.
Angel.
Like, good God, you were almost there.
You're
Ah.
almost there. Yeah, because in the
Ah.
issue, it's a conversation between her and Dr. Leland, and Dr. Leland's basically trying to tell her things. Once again, I think it's almost more tragic to watch Harley like, sweetie, you're just one, like, you're almost there. Can we get you one step past this? And then it's just she's so freaking codependent
Yeah.
that all she needs to see is a note from her and that says "Get better soon," and that's all she needs to go. Oh, he's lovely.
Yeah. He loves me. He's the best. Oh, good Lord. Crazy, but awesome. Great episode. Great.
It's a fantastic episode. It's just a fantastic. I had basically no notes because it was like, who needs notes for this episode? You can just you can just watch it and talk about it. I'm trying to make sure that I write anything else down. Nope. I covered everything, and I didn't even have to look at my notes because that's how awesome this episode is.
That's how great the episode is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is a way to go out when it comes to the actual series.
I wish it was the way we were going out, but it's
but we're staying true to the production order, and we have how many more episodes?
We have 3 more episodes.
And what's next week?
Next week, Dave, the thing that the two of us always have every week?
Good conversation.
Well, because we've got chemistry.
Chemistry. Who the fuck's that gotta be? Crane?
Nope.
No. Man-Bat?
Nope.
I don't know. I have no idea which one this is. Probably the thumbnail doesn't even show anything, does it?
I actually didn't look at the thumbnail, but I think the thumbnail gives it away. Probably.
Does it? I mean, if I had to guess, yeah, it's probably. Is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I was like, how long? Come on, Dave. How long is it going to take you to get here? I mean,
yeah. It's a Poison Ivy episode.
The Poison Ivy episode. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, wait, I was like trying to figure out which villains would have to do with, like, chemistry, like in the science kind of stuff. And that's why I was like, Crane? No. Man,
Crane was a good one, but
but then I was like, okay, of course, Poison Ivy. So there you go. We talked about Mad Love, and now we're gonna have some chemistry next week, as we do
hubba
on DC Fan-imated. And somebody in the chat just brought this up, and we could kind of talk about it since it is a character that has been very much throughout these conversations. Did you hear about the Clayface movie?
I did, because you know why I am intrigued by it?
Why?
Because Mike Flanagan's writing it.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. That is the only thing that makes me go, is if Mike Flanagan. No, I'm interested though that they're like he's writing it, but he's not like attached to direct it. And I'm sitting here going, everything he's directed
is awesome.
Because what else did he do? He wrote it.
Yeah.
He writes and directs his stuff.
Yeah.
So the only thing that makes me cock an eyebrow is that you have Flanagan writing it, but you also don't have Flanagan directing it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a. I mean, then details are a little scarce.
Very scarce. Very scarce.
I think Deadline was hinting that it's in the Reeves verse.
Yes, Deadline was hinting that, but Deadline was the only one hinting that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with the way film journalism is, that could just be the writer of the Deadline article speculating or bullshitting, but writing it in a way that they feel like they know something. Because there's always something weird when only one publication seems to
have some details. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, do you have a different source, or are you just bullshitting us? Yeah. Or are you speculating, and unfortunately your speculation gets taken as I have inside info?
Because if this is the case, that means we're going to get we're going to get some like some foundation for the character in the Batman Part 2 then, right?
Yeah. Oh no,
if that's the case. But then at the same time, it's like you wouldn't think of like this iteration of Clayface, the modern iteration, would fit in Matt Reeves' world.
No, it would be more like you feel like it would be more like what we saw in like Kate Crusader.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. So it's just that's what's so interesting and weird about this whole thing. But then again, who knows? Like I said, it's just something that just broke. The news broke today. I'm sure James Gunn is going to probably talk about it. Somebody's probably blowing up his threads or whatever the heck. I haven't seen anybody post anything else about it, but it was just kind of interesting. Like, okay, because we heard about it. There was rumors about it. There was rumors about the about it that he was attached, that Flanagan was attached. Hopefully he does direct it. But
because I mean the man, everything the man touches is gold. I mean, it's the way it goes, you know.
Yeah. He does. Let's see. Although Flanagan wasn't pitching the character to be part of Matt Reeves' DC Elseworld, other sources have said Clayface is a big addition to Reeves' The Batman 2. Don't shoot the messenger, but I've heard Clayface and Scarecrow will be big auditions to part 2. Okay, so this is somebody that I follow that apparently has some inside stuff. So if he's correct, we're going to get some Scarecrow, which we already got teases of that in the Penguin with that one dude, that the
Dr. Rush, you know,
Dr. Rush, the Sophia Simp. So that's what he's hearing. So we do technically have a second source, but then again,
the only thing that makes me iffy on that is because we were hearing rumors about this Clayface movie before Reeves was even done with the script.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't know. It's all very interesting. That's when it comes to the Reeves verse. I mean, it's taken so long for the Batman 2 to like get going again that it's just But it's like, and I know there's like people are going, oh, James Gunn's not going to allow it, or there's this and there's that. It's like, no. James Gunn very much. I mean, he said time and time again he wants to tell DC Elseworld stories.
And once again, when the Batman gets nominated for things, when these Golden Globes and Critics Awards for the Penguin are coming out, like, no, the Reeves verse is making money and attention for DC and Warner Brothers. They're gonna,
and I'm sure, I'm sure Gunn wanted everything to be like one universe, and I'm sure even Warner Brothers wanted that. But at the same time, you start thinking about the business, and then Gunn was probably like, "Yeah, we have Elseworlds, we have that option." So I don't see, So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. I'm sure we'll hear. I mean, who knows if Gunn will respond tonight, probably tomorrow, or maybe not at all. Maybe he'll wait. But I guess we'll see. But it's exciting. It's exciting because I'm curious to see where this goes. And Scarecrow, ooh, that could be interesting too. Anyways, guys, so next week we're gonna be talking about chemistry, and should be fun. We'll make the best of it because it ain't gonna get any better than this, folks.
No, it really isn't.
It's not gonna get any better than this, but we'll see what happens. But go ahead and plug away, Scott.
Well, of course, you can find me on X at ScottDC27, on Instagram at McMurlin, and on Vero at Scott McClellan. Make sure that you are subscribed to the DC TV Squadcast podcast, wherever podcasts can be found. I can tell you that as of today, Ray and I have recorded our massive, almost 2-hour discussion of Superman and Lois seasons 3 and 4. We finally put a bow on Superman and Lois and have our complete thoughts on the second half of that amazing show, which I say on air is my favorite Superman television show of all time to date. So if you want to hear why, make sure you're subscribed and you listen to that episode when it drops.
There you go. Check it out, folks. Should be good stuff. And hit that like, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. See you Friday for the Vodka Stream. Got plenty to talk about, of course. Clayface being one of them. So yeah, see you guys then. And thank you for spending some time with us. We'll see you next week on DC Fan-imated. Love ya. Talk to you later.